Today you're going to learn about a conditional statement, and remember that conditional statements actually like make a choice or make a certain maybe like condition either true or false, or they actually like predict under certain conditions. So maybe like so some of them we are going to like include the else, then we have first the if, then we have the else, then we have the else if. That means if one of the conditions is met, then there is a nesting of the if else statements. So the next one you're going to look at also is the switch statements. So remember, all these are used for decision making. So they make actually they make some changes, or they make a certain like choice based on the condition. So for example, let's first like see the first one. So let's try to see its architecture. So maybe like let's say if it's raining, then maybe like watch a movie, and then we can say else if it's not raining, maybe like go swimming. So this is basically the architecture of how an if else statement looks like. So you make a condition. So if it's raining, then not if it's raining, just stay at home and probably watch a movie. Then the next thing is, if it's not raining, then what should you do? So maybe if the weather is warm, then you can try maybe like go swimming. So that's actually the basic architecture of how this works. So again, you can say maybe say if the student passed, not actually the passing away, then maybe proceed to actually the next class. Else repeat. So I want you to note something. If the student has passed, then the condition is go to the next class. Else, so this means this condition was not met, therefore repeat back your class. So this is actually its architecture. So you have to master the if else. Then we are going to see how we can nest this. If this condition again is not met, then we can actually try to execute other conditions. So we can try out with a quick one. So let's say we have some score. So let me just align this very well. So maybe you'll have something like int score. So let's say the student scored 50. Then we want to use the if else statement to execute this. So we're going to say if, then the brackets, then score. Let's say if the score is greater than 50, then we can tell the student. So remember, these are actually asked to be used. So let me just do this. So in understanding if else statement, so this is actually how it's asked to actually be. So despite the architecture, so let me just show you. Then we have here a condition, then we have like the choice or maybe like your code. Then if that condition is not met, then we can now go for else, then maybe like default one, because this will be executed if the first condition is not met. So this is the basic real architecture when it comes to the code. So you do this, you have to have your condition inside the opening and closing brackets, then have this opening and closing curly brackets, then else, then also make sure that it has to come in between these opening and closing curly bracket. So we can now use our example here. So you can see our condition will now be the score. So if the score is greater than 50, then we want to tell the student that, so we want to tell the student proceed to next class. Then make sure, of course, you end this in a new line. Else, we can tell the student see out, repeat. So you can say maybe like something like you failed, then repeat. So make sure you end this in actually your semicolon. So this is actually the basic architecture of an if else statement. So and also remember, of course, when you are writing an if else, it has to have this indentation here, otherwise the compiler will complain. So if we now run our code, we expect that we see, because the score is not actually above 15, then it's saying You failed, repeat. So what happens if our score was 60? Of course, from the guess, 60 is more than 50. So proceed to the next class. So this is actually what we call some of the including the operators. So we have so let me just do this. So to make sure that we understand this one, I want us to first understand the operators. So let's say, so the first thing we have is this. So this is what we call the assignment operator. So unlike this one, where we have, this is what we call the equal sign. So we use this one to compare. So remember, the two double equal sign is a comparison operator. So we use to make sure that we can compare between two conditions if they are the same. Then this is called the assignment operator. So that's why if you realized in our code, we were saying if score equal to, and we did not say if score is equal to. So this is just as an assignment operator. So this actually will happen when you want to assign variables and values, and this is called the equal. So you want to compare or check if a condition are both equal. So the next one you want to check here is greater or equal to. So this will check if a condition is actually like greater or equal. So that will be greater or equal depending on the condition. So the next one is less or equal to. So as from the just guess, is just a less or equal to the set value. So the next one here is we have this operator, an exclamation and an equal sign. So this you want to check if it's not equal to. So this is just a negation of the equal sign. So if you want to make sure that the value is not equal to something, then you can now use this sign here. I think that's all. So I hope I've not forgotten anything. Of course, we have this one, other one, the greater one, and then we also have the less one. So this is just a direct one. So the first one is checking if it's greater, then the second one is less than. So you have to maybe like get actually a deeper understanding of this. Then we can also have one that checks for two conditions. We call that the AND. So this will now check for two values or two conditions. So once it has actually like checked if these conditions are the same, so this means that the conditions here, both conditions must be true. So we can maybe like say something like, if there is power and light must be on. So because we cannot say there is no power and maybe lights on, this doesn't work. So both this is called, we are going to use something known as an operator. So maybe we have a generator and then we can have the lights will now be on depending if we have power or power from the generator. So for this, both conditions must be true. So this one we can now use the OR operator. So this is what we call, it's called the OR operator. So this means that one of the conditions must be true for both conditions to be true. So we can have maybe like our lights can be on based on a generator or just the normal electric power. So make sure you master this very well because you're going to use this in our next nested statements. So let's get started and let's see how we can imply these operators inside a conditional statement.